All right, so we are live. Welcome, my dear, beautiful friends, and we are here again, myself and Rudrani, for this beautiful Q&A Wednesday. Welcome, welcome. All right, Ru, how are you?
I'm doing fabulously. We're about to have a big storm, maybe even tornadoes. How does it get any better?
Wow, wow. Yes.
Like that where I live. This is tornado season, so you just never know what you're going to get, you know?
All right.
How are you,
So,
Vishnu? You look fabulous.
yes, I had been running around with so many different things in all directions, and I'm like, where am I? And this time zone, the daylight savings that changed, I'm like, okay, that has threw my calendar in different ways. So I'm like, okay, now what else is possible?
True story. We're starting a little late today just because we're trying to accommodate between India and the Americas. So
Yep.
here we go.
Yes.
You know,
All right.
what
So
else?
let's get to work. So the first question from, so my dear viewers, if you're watching this on YouTube, what this particular Q&A show is, we post in the Facebook group. So we have a beautiful Facebook group called Relationships Done Differently. It's a challenge kind of a group where we do a lot of different relationship stuff. So the members of the group gets to ask different questions that we will be addressing in this particular show. So today's first question, Ru, comes from our group member Samo, and it was the most interesting of all questions that we get to choose.
I
And the
can
question,
only imagine. Samo, okay, bring it.
yes, so the question is, what do women seek in men, and what do men seek in women, energetically speaking?
Wow. How many men and women are on this earth? Let's start with that piece. There are so many different men and so many different women, and some women actually like women, and some men actually like men. And I understand this is a blanket question, but what if everything was energy? Because you're asking energetically speaking, right? What if everything was energy? And what would that look like? Well, it's the same thing when we were talking about love in the last conversation we had, that there are so many definitions of the word love that it's nearly impossible. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not very easy to determine if the person that you are in a relationship with has actually the same definition of love that you do. So reason it to say, is it possible that everyone you get into a relationship has a different energetic capacity and desire when it comes to a relationship? I will say personally myself, what do I look for energetically in a relationship? Well, it's changed over the years. Kindness is kind of the number one thing for me now. It used to be, oh, I want him to be tall with hair and athletic and with a good job and his own house and his own car, and maybe his children are grown, would be something else I would throw in now. But those things can really limit you. Relationship, and we've talked about it a lot, creationship. As far as I'm concerned, and it's said in right relationships, or a relationship's done different. If you're going to be in a relationship, it should create 20% more than it does on its own. And it definitely shouldn't be a deficit. So you've got to get really clear with your ask, because every ask has an energy to it. And if you're very clear with your ask, you're going to emanate that energy, and like attracts like. And so that person that shares the same energy is going to show up. It's the same way when you are looking for very superficial things, you're going to attract a superficial partner because they're going to align and agree with those same desires you have. And desires have energy as well. Everything is energy. Now, sense access consciousness. For me, I discovered it in, I don't know, what was it, 2012, 2011, 2012. The 5 elements of intimacy is something I've only started grasping in the last 4 or 5 years. And so that's part of my ask when I'm getting clear, you know, honor, trust, allowance, gratitude, and vulnerability. And this is something else we've had a conversation with before. You know, you have to have these 5 elements of intimacy with yourself first. And energetically, what would that look like? What would it look like to honor myself? Well, for me, you know, it's getting my nails did, it's getting in my hot tub, it's taking a moment with my cat, it's having a nice meal. Those are honorings to myself. I trust that I will always show up for me. That wasn't true in the past. Well, you know, 99% of the time, I think I show up for me. I'll be honest. Being an allowance of when I'm cranky pants. I used to make myself wrong for it. You know, being grateful that I'll show up for me. I'm so grateful that I wake up every morning and I've got my back. And then there's that vulnerability piece where I'm willing to, you know, show up warts and all, even when it doesn't look good. Because in this reality, we see vulnerability as a weakness. And what if it was actually a strongness? So I would say, energetically speaking, if you know what your ask is, and you get really clear with what that is and what you desire to create in a relationship, you're going to be able to energetically send out the message through the ethers. And those that resonate with it are going to be like, oh, there you are. Where have you been? I want to kill you. I've been waiting all my life for you. Where have you been? And I'm being silly. I have a girlfriend that does that all the time. Where is he? Where is the one? Where is Prince Charming or whatever it is? When I find him, I'm going to kill him. And I said, well, all that time you wait. And then when you get him, you're going to kill him. So no, just throwing in a little joke there. But really, Samo, it's really so individual. You know, it's like snowflakes. We're all so different. And a lot of us don't even know what it is we actually desire in a relationship. But if you can get really clear about that, everything has an energy. And that's the space you want to get to. So I would give you this home play, all right? I would like for you to sit down, lower your walls and barriers, expand out, and ask, what is it I truly desire and require in relationships? And we've talked about the heavy light tool. What makes you feel light is true for you. What makes you feel heavy isn't. So even as you're writing, you can determine, oh, you know what? This actually isn't something that I desire. Put a line through it. It's heavy. It's not for me. Oh, I do want kindness, or I do want someone who's athletic. That's actually really light for me. Keep that on your list. And I say, you know, put 10 things down. I would say 100 so that you can get really clear. But if you can get 10 that are light for you and put that energy out, because it's not a blanket answer. I can't tell you what all women want. I told you what I would like to energetically receive and gift in relationship. But really and truly, if you get clear with your ask, there's a much better chance of actually bringing it to you, which is, I think, is actually your question, is how can I actually attract the partner in my life that's an energetic match for me, that I'm in congruency with, that I can actually create with. And ask too, when you meet this person, go down your list. If 70% of it is light, then you got a chance with this person. But if you're trying to, you know, bend, fold, and staple them into something that you think could work for you, that's going to backfire, honey. That's not going to work. I mean, do you like anyone telling you how to be? So that's your assignment, honey. And in our group, Relationships Done Differently challenge, why don't you post that list, and I'll be happy to comment on it. And any of you listening, if you're interested in being able to ask questions, get involved in this group. It's on Facebook. You just have to add in. I don't know how Vishnu pulls people in. She'll have to tell you, but you can find it, and I think request to be in the group. Is that the case, Vishnu?
No, so if you're
Oh,
watching
no.
this, you just have to click. Sorry for that direct answer, by the way.
It's all good. I appreciate it, really.
On YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, you just click on the group link and then you just click on join group and it automatically approves you. So there's no manual labor.
Wow, how does it get any easier than that?
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
love it.
All
I love
right.
it.
So I am going to quickly summarize as usual in my own style.
Please.
Uh, One line answer then to the question of what do women seek in men and what do men seek in women? Well, regardless of what, thousand, for the first part of the answer was, each man is going to be different, each woman is going to be different, but whom I am going to attract and what that person is going to seek from me depends on what I am seeking as well. I'm going to attract people who have the same kind of desires, who have the same seeking as what I am seeking in other, if that answer is closer to what you kind of said.
That will work. And viva la difference. You may attract 3 very different personalities,
Hmm.
but the ask, the energy, which I perceive is what you're asking, the energy will be the same. And it'll be congruent with what you're looking for. At least we hope at least 70%.
Mhm.
A little addendum.
So, for example, and now you also mentioned the 5 elements of intimacy. So, when I do have these 5 elements of intimacy with myself, and that's what I'm seeking from my partner to have these 5 elements of intimacy with themselves and to me, I get to attract that person who has that thing in them. Would,
Right.
would that as well explain kind of the answer?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's interesting because I don't find in these classes that I've been teaching, and these elements are in all the classes. It's not just in relationships done differently. It's in Right Voice for You, it's in Foundation, it's in Being You, several different Access Consciousness classes, because the point is, if you can actually create this with yourself, you are capable of creating it in business, with your family, with your coworkers, with your flatmates, with everyone, with your pets, with everything and everyone in the world, even this beautiful planet. But if you're not willing to have that with yourself, you're not going to attract other people that are willing to have it with themselves as well. And then you have a very different relationship. Well, I say very different, actually a very similar relationship to what this reality has been creating for thousands of years. And what if you could out create that? Just a choice. These are just simple tools to get there.
Wow, beautiful. So now let's move on to question number 2. So the second question comes from Himanshi, and she asks, sometimes we know the person likes us and wants to be with us, but his walls and past always stops him to get close. His fear of commitment and stuff like that. Either how to stop us getting attached to such energies or if we could help them dissolve their walls.
Okay, well, help them dissolve their walls. I'm going to go with that last bit first. Can you really make anybody do what you want them to do? Maybe if they actually want to do it. It gets back to that piece of, would you like someone telling you how to be? I know I don't enjoy that. I am very curious what their agenda is, and I might actually do a little dance with conversation to find out what that could be. But really and truly, if someone can't receive me the way that I be, why would I want to mess with that? Why would I want to try to change that? That's like running into a brick wall. And as far as walls and barriers are down, perhaps you need to find a man that's in access consciousness, because they're more willing to actually be in a space of choosing that, really and truly. Because that's something, in this reality, just imagine you're out on a date with somebody and he's getting upset about something. You're like, oh, honey, just put your walls and barriers are down and expand out. He's going to look at you like you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Himanshi. Believe me, I've been there, where you try to impale upon them enlightenment or whatever it is that you know can just change their lives and make everything so easy. But if they don't ask for it, don't impale it upon them. That's being a superior asshole, because you're saying, I know the better way. And Gary says this all the time. He goes, just for me, just for fun, don't tell anyone. If you notice that someone is incapable of creating their lives the way you think they should be creating it, or let's say you can perceive it actually would change their lives, it's not in kindness to impale it upon them. Now, if they're curious, that's another story. Just for me, just for fun, don't tell anyone is basically, okay, I can perceive that this person could really put their past behind them, put their walls and barriers down, expand out, be vulnerable with me, and I can receive them. But if this is all that they know, you're scaring them. I'm just going to say they're not ready for that. And they may not be capable of it in this 10 seconds, maybe 10 years down the road, maybe 2 years down the road. But why would you want to work with somebody that isn't choosing what you would like to receive in a relationship? And let me go back even further, Himanshi. Perhaps you're attracting people that have this past and can't put their walls and barriers down because this is also your history. So energetically speaking, that's what you're putting out into the ethers. And then there's this energetic match that goes, oh, someone else that has suffered and had people that that hurt them, and so that they keep their walls and barriers up also. I want to be with that person. Oh, definitely. Oh no, it hurts. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. Oh, now they're telling me to put my walls and barriers. Oh my gosh, what is? Come on, Himanshi. There are a lot of romantic movies you could go watch that try to defy all of that, but are they really true? Now, if you want to really invest in those romantic movies, there's this thing called the Hallmark channel that we have in the US. My mother loves it. And it's always this tug of war between these two people that shouldn't be together. And then somehow it works. And maybe 1% of the population actually gets to indulge in that. But if you really want to create something that's an honoring for both of you, it's not about changing the other person, because that's not honoring them. That's not receiving them for the way they truly be. And if someone cannot put their walls and barriers down and put their past behind them, you've got to trust that that's going to be the way they continually show up. Another element of intimacy. And then all you have to ask is, does this work for me? Because there are a lot of people that would rather be in a relationship that is crappy than to be alone. Are you one of those people? Just a choice. So I don't know. I think I would work on those 5 elements of intimacy with yourself first. And as a kindness, let this person go. I mean, if they're willing to go there with you, you can perceive that, then that's great. But if not, you're impaling your ideologies or your points of view on them. That's really not a kindness, honey. So
Yes. And I also feel, regardless of which person it is, let's say I'm trying to, impose all of this on the current person who is not willing to take it, and that person moves away, I get another person, I do the same. It's not going to work out. It's the same pattern repeating. And the entire kind of story that you said here about, trying to change a person, I think I'm the best person for it. I had been trying to change my husband for a very, very long time, 3 to 5 years. And successfully, I have never succeeded.
I was going to say, how's that worked out for you, Vishnu? It doesn't, you guys. It doesn't work.
Yes. And when access consciousness came in, that's when, for me, it was the first time, oh, where am I being the superior bitch, knowing everything that my husband doesn't know? And I have that, superiority of, oh, you have to do this exactly this way, then you get to this way. So anyways, yes. And now I have been in that kind of allowance mode where I can see that he is different from me. He doesn't have to do what I do in the exact way as how I do it. I be in the allowance of whatever, however he wants it to be. Regardless, coming back to our question and short
Now, wait
sum.
just a moment. You don't get off that easy, honey. I really want you to acknowledge the honoring you have for him now, and acknowledge that you were the superior bitch. You were in your righteousness of, oh my gosh, I found something that's better than sliced bread and he has to do it now. And I'm talking about access consciousness. You know, I know a lot of people in access consciousness that are in relationship with people that are not. Because believe it or not, there are people out there that will receive you, even if you're doing something that they're not. And they're happy to see you do it because they see the joy. That's the honoring, that's the allowance, you know, that piece. So don't, I mean, I'm teasing you a little bit, Himanshi, when I say go to access consciousness and find a person who'll put their walls and barriers down. It's going to be easier probably. If I ever dated somebody in access, I have not. Doesn't mean it won't happen in the future. Who knows? But I don't want to shut it down and say you can't find that outside of there. What I'm saying is, if you use these tools, you're more likely to attract someone, whether they're involved in the same organization or not, that resonates with you, that energetically is a match for you. So, and I love the way Vishnu is, she's acknowledging her choices and it's changing her relationship, I dare say, for the better, even though your husband is not an access person.
Yes.
How beautiful is that? Would you say your relationship has gotten stronger because of these two?
Absolutely. And just now how you mentioned, he has been in allowance of me regardless of what I do access consciousness or whatever weird stuff in the world. He doesn't care and he is like in allowance. You get to do whatever you want. But I had been this person with absolutely no allowance. And I'm like, I think even that small bits and pieces of it still exists in me, that I'm kind of looking at it and pulling it out. Where am I not being in allowance of him? And now I'm looking at him and I'm asking, how is he in allowance all the time? He is not access. He has no knowledge about any of these stuff that I'm doing. And he is an entire 100% allowance of me, which I am not. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I might have to
Get
learn
any
from him.
better? That's beautiful. I just want to acknowledge that you're willing to go there and say, and here I'm not even willing to be 100% in allowance, probably not of yourself or of him or of the relationship. But
Yes.
we get it when we get it. Just acknowledge, and I'm not going to say try to do better, just be the tools, work the tools. You'll be amazed one day you become them. And you're like, wow, when did that happen?
Beautiful. All right. So that was our answer to the question of helping others to dissolve their walls, which the answer I feel is, well, we don't get to do that. We might be able to dissolve our own walls so that we don't attract people with those walls. Hopefully that
Well,
makes sense.
one other piece about that, and thank you for reiterating, you could ask truth, if I actually suggest this to this person, can they receive it? And you'll still get the heavy light tool. There's that chance that they actually could receive it, and they're coming to you because they're also seeking these tools or whatever, even if they don't join access or whatever it is. But maybe you're an energetic match because you're going to learn from each other. I mean, don't kick the baby out with the bathwater just yet. You've got to ask questions around it. Hey, if I choose to have this conversation with them, what will my life be like in 5 years? Doesn't mean you'll even be with them in 5 years, but just notice it feels lighter, because that's contribution. Can I contribute to this person, whether I'm with them or not? Is this going to create more for them and for me? But if it's heavy, don't impale your points of view. Next, this isn't working. Next, with kindness. Sorry to interrupt again. It's just you're bringing up pieces that are like, oh my gosh, there's just something else. There's something else there that could work.
Absolutely. And I love that additional piece that we get to take today, which was, you know, there could be that energetic lessons that both of us are learning from each other who actually come close together. So beautiful.
Mhm.
Let's now move on to the next question that we have for today. I hope we have time for one more question. And the question is, how to prevent ourselves from getting attached to the wrong people, people who just want to use us mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Mhm. What I hear you saying is, how do I keep from getting sucked in by a gaslighter?
Absolutely. And I love the word that you brought up here, gaslighter. Maybe we can give to our
Yes.
viewers
So
what that is.
yeah, well, let me give it a little bit of a description of what gaslighting truly is. These are predators that seek out really kind people that trust everyone, that they know that they can um, manipulate them to suck them into a relationship, whether it's work related or whatever it is. And once they get them into their grasps and they get them, you or whomsoever, trusting that they know everything and they've got their back and all those things, then they start picking you apart. You know, my ex-husband used to do this. So the best way perhaps is for me to give you an example where he was always better at everything than me. Now, when I first met him, I was, of course, brilliant. You know, I'm a film producer, and he's also working in the industry at country music television. And so, you know, we're meant to be together. And he's, you know, I've been looking for you my whole life and all these things. So he made it really seem like, oh my gosh, I found my soulmate. This is the one. I am so happy. My life is forever fulfilled. Because the truth was, believe me, I bought the story lock, stock, and barrel. I was like, oh my gosh, Cinderella does exist, you know? So there I do. I get married to this man. And then on the honeymoon, he's telling me, you know, that he's a better diver than I am. And yet I've been diving longer than he has. Everything that I do, he can do better. There's actually a song. Anything I can do, what you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Yes, you know, whatever. Anyway, look it up. But the point is when you find somebody that is picking you apart and is making you actually question you, oh my gosh, maybe I can't do this as well as them. Maybe I don't know what I did before this person came into my life. And then this person has a tendency to distance you from your family or from your friends because they're telling them that you're, you know, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Hey, you know what? She's actually got all these deep-seated issues, and I didn't realize. I mean, she's really lucky that I'm decided to have her in my life. Oh my goodness. So that's the gaslighting piece. When you can recognize the energy of that, you won't attract those people anymore. In fact, you know, it's like repellent for me when somebody comes up. I know their agenda. And I like to use Facebook as an example because I can't tell you how many times I get Facebook messaged by these suitors, we'll call them that you know, are really trying to suck me in. And, oh, you're my next wife and all these things. And then they're also puffing their chest out. And I can perceive they're trying to draw me in because they can, you know, here's the thing about gaslighters. They try to draw you in because they want to have power over you. And the thing is, they perceiving the power you have. So they've got to quell this power in you to be able to overcome you. So just know that you're a lot more powerful than any person that is attempting to gaslight you. So I want you to get really clear on the energy of what that is. There's a movie out there called Gaslighting, and it's not the latest one. It's the one from, I think, the 50s. So I would, for your homework, and I wish I could remember the actors in it, but before my time. Um, it's a black and white movie, and I would recommend that you rent this movie. It's not a love story, I'm sorry to say, but it's the premise is it's supposed to be a love story, and you'll get very clear on what gaslighting is. And in fact, if you're someone that gets their bars run, which is a process in access consciousness, it's 32 points on the head that clear thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are sticking you. if you were to have your bars run while you're watching gaslighting, then you'll be able to get rid of, these things that are stuck in your body that perhaps are even attracting those types of people to you. And I would suggest, watching it 3 or 4 times and getting your bars run. This way, there's no shadow of a doubt. You'll see it coming a mile away. And that will keep you from attracting those people that are trying to take advantage of you, that just want your body or just want your money or, just want arm candy. Or maybe they just want sex. So they don't even want to be seen with you. They just want to, they just want to put another notch in their belt. Who knows what it is? And I'm not saying it's just lovers or potential lovers or husbands, boyfriends. It's everywhere. I mean, I see it a lot in competition in business where someone here's another salesperson that chums up to you and they find out all your secrets, all your clients, and then they go behind your back and they sabotage you to these clients. And all of a sudden they're dropping like flies. And you're like, what happened? Well, this chummy person that's also in sales that says, oh my gosh, we have so much in common, has now taken your clientele from you. So, just for me, just for fun, you don't share that information. Keep your cards a little close. And then if it's light to share, you share. You got to ask, does this person have an agenda, light or heavy? Is this person trying to steal my clientele, light or heavy? Is this person just want to sleep with me and they have no interest in actually a relationship with me, light or heavy? And when you get really clear of what that is, it'll be like repellent. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I can feel this guy coming, 20 meters away from me. Oh, so nice. Yes. I'm not interested. Next. Does that answer the question, do you think, Vishnu?
Absolutely. And wow, I hope the gaslighting, the movie that you suggested, and the getting access bars run while watching the movie, which until now I haven't done. I have been only doing the bars. And today when you said it, I was like, wow, that's a entire new possibility. And with bars, just wanted to share as well, when you are watching a certain movie while doing that bars run, I feel all of those specific points of view that's coming up gets released. And that's how, watching a specific movie which has a specific theme in it that you want to release out from you, the pattern that you want to release, when you're looking at it while running the bars run, it's like works like magic. So
It's
thank you.
amazing. It's that energy piece again, because your energy is congruent with the energy of what the story is. And so you're able to dissipate it. Perhaps, Himanshi, you want to actually have your bars run when you're watching all these romance movies as well, because it sounds to me like you have some fixed points of view of what a relationship should look like. And that's going to keep you from actually creating what could really work for you. I remember Gary Douglas, I think it was 6 years ago, I took a sex and relationship class. And it was the first time I'd met Dr. Dane. And they taught the class together. And I asked him in the middle of the class, because I had heard he used to do this. He used to give people movies to watch. And he didn't know me, not really. I mean, yeah, he knew me, but I didn't go into my story with him or anything. And I said, I'd really love to know what movie you would give me. I don't think I actually asked him in class. I think I came up to him afterwards. And he said, you need to watch Goodbye Girl. And I thought, I know the song Goodbye Girl, but I don't know the movie. And so I purchased it because I had a sense that I was going to have to watch it a few times. And it was 3. The magic number was 3. But the first time I watched it, I was so critical of the movie. I thought, oh my gosh, it's so 70s. Look at their clothes. And being a film producer, I would see the tie this way and then I would see it this way. And that's all I could see was the inconsistency of the ties and the shots. And how did they not get that right when they were, editing it together? Obviously a head tripper. And so that's all it was about the first time. And then the second time I cried through the whole thing. I thought, what is going on with me? And then by the third time, I was so chill and I could actually appreciate the movie. I wasn't all about the inconsistencies. I was like, yeah, that little girl's annoying, but she's actually a really great actress. And I can see where Richard Dreyfuss got an, I don't know if he didn't get an Emmy, that's for music. He got a Academy Award for his performance. And it was amazing. Nobody even knew who he was. This was like the movie that put him on the map before Jaws. And so, yeah, so whatever you do, don't watch Gaslighting and get your bars run, because that'll give you more change than you could possibly desire. in my interesting point of view. I don't know how helpful that is, but
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I got your joke. Do I have your permission to laugh for that?
sure,
Yeah.
please.
So the access consciousness way of motivating someone is to tell them, don't do this because this will help you.
That's right. Because anytime anybody tells you to do something, you don't want to do it. Or if they say you can't do something, then you're going to want to do it. That's humanoid nature or human nature, whatever you want to call it. And so if we could, Vishnu, if we could actually put the link to Gaslighting, to that movie
Mm.
with all of this, because I can perceive that it's not just for Himanshi, it's for several people out there, so that they don't get sucked in by that energy anymore. It's time to choose for us, people. What would you really like to choose for you? And what could you create today to outcreate what it is you truly desire and require? Just a choice, just a choice.
Wow. Wow. Yes. So we will put the link to the gaslighting movie along with this video on YouTube. So that's the end of our show. Wow. Beautiful topics for today. Thank you. Thank you, Ru.
Thank you. And thank you, those that are offering up these questions. I know how vulnerable they are because I kind of picked them apart, but just keep them coming.
Yep.
And thank you for your vulnerability. Yeah, I'm
Sure.
grateful.
And in today's show, for viewers who are watching this first time or maybe in YouTube, so we did mention a lot of times about the light and heavy tool, the five elements of intimacy, and all of this is what we have already kind of the 5 elements of intimacy we have addressed. If you want to step into our Facebook group, we have a free 5-day challenge there with 30-minute facilitation calls that Ru has done for each of these 5 elements of intimacy. It looks like, most of the questions we go back to that beautiful 5 pieces which we cannot ignore. So if any of you want to go in and use those 5-day facilitation calls that is available for free in the group, you're welcome to do so. Along with that, beautifully, we are also launching something called the RDD Elite Club for just 10 members from the group who would love to do this kind of 30-minute weekly sessions every week. It's like a monthly membership, or month on month basis you get to have the membership, and you get to be in the group, just 10-member private group, and we get to do these facilitation sessions where we will go deeper into all of these 5 elements of intimacy, how to use the light and heavy tool. You get to come and ask any question and learn these processes if you choose to. So that is also coming up. If any of you are interested, you can message any one of us and we are welcome. I think we have few spots filled up, but we have few spots availability still.
We just released it this morning. There's already people signing up. I love it. And this goes in a private group. So it lives in this elite group for you to come back to. So.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much. So that's the end of our show. How does it get any better? Thank you so much, Ru. I'm going to see you in the next week's show.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for the gift that you be. So grateful to you.
Thank you. And same to you. See you. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao for now.
Thank you.